Alex, let's give a few minutes. We can start this program. Hello, good afternoon, good evening. It's me, Suleiman Ben Swai, coming back on Facebook Live. Today is Monday, I think the 28th or the 29th. To be candid, I'm not following, took some time off. I'm not following dates. We'll try and do a brief discussion and analysis of the successful gala demonstration that happened during the week, last week. And evidence of the success is the NPP administration coming out panicking. This is what we want to discuss today, inshallah, in a minute. Yes, to start with, I would just want to discuss brief the importance of these demonstrations. And to better understand it, I would want to cite examples of United Kingdom and the United States. The importance of protests or demonstrations in a democracy. It's part of our fundamental human rights, but it's part of the process of maintaining our democracy. It's not only because it's our right we just go out and protest or demonstrate. No, it's very instrumental in our democracy because the check and balance systems we have, they don't often work. And we will always find a way to make sure the people's voice are heard. Democracy, it's not a perfect form of government. But because of the fundamental freedoms, that's why people cherish democracy. Where there are absence of democracy, there will be absence of your fundamental human rights. Then it's important to note the case of having these rights. But important to note too, applying these rights. Because it's crucial to apply these rights to demonstrate or to protest. As we said that the check and balance systems are not perfect. In democracies for that matter, not even developing democracies. We used to say in developing democracies, where institutions are not strong, the executive can take over powers of the check and balance system and become a dictator. But it's proven right now in America. It's proven right now in the United Kingdom, where the governments are actually hijacked by a foreign government. Foreign interest groups, the Zionist movement have hijacked our government in the United Kingdom. The Zionist movement have hijacked our government in the United States. Foreign interests have hijacked our government in the United Kingdom. Foreign interests have hijacked our government in the United States. Corporate interests have hijacked our government in the United Kingdom. Corporate interests have hijacked our government in the United States. If these are measures of developed democracies or mature democracies for that matter can be easily hijacked with all the check and balance system, the Supreme Courts or what we have here, other parallel institutions, to the extent of our police in the United Kingdom, or police in America, or the army be used to deal with civil matters when there's no state of emergency. I'm not going to dive into the nitty-gritties, but I observe most people understand what we're talking about here. But just let me say this. To give an example of the United Kingdom, where people the United Kingdom government have been hijacked with evidence that most of our MPs, be it in the opposition or in the ruling party, most of them are bought because they're They all received donations from Zionist lobbies. Most of them went into parliament because of the Zionist lobby, gave them money to campaign to go to parliament. Now, our parliament is technically dysfunctional. Some of them have been bought by corporate bodies that would dictate what laws they want to have. Now, the United Kingdom government is involved in enabling the killing and massacre, genocide in Gaza, in Palestine. Just imagine how you feel as a citizen or someone living in the United Kingdom that your tax money, your government is the one empowering a genocide and is approved by your government, by your parliament, that parliament that should represent you. What else can you do? You have to demonstrate, you have to protest. Now you get up to protest to show your frustration, because protest is part of the rule of law. Protest is a right. It's part of the due process of holding democracy accountable. The same parliament draw out a law. Use a law which is existent for anti-terrorism. A law that was made for anti-terrorism and applied on citizens who are coming out to show outrage. Senior citizens who are almost 70, 80 years old been arrested, been manhandled by police. I'm giving these examples for Gambians to understand the importance of us coming out to demonstrate, or us protesting, us holding our democracy to account. Can you just imagine that? Can you imagine in America? The Trump administration drawing out laws or in fact going against the spirit of laws, doing things away from the due process, taking human beings, picking them up any time of the day, night, or anywhere else in the notion of immigration control, which is a lie. It's not about immigration control. The administration went and technically pushed and bullied a budget to create over 40 billion for the enforcement of immigration rules. But we know that there are companies who are, the minute that budget was approved, guess what? Those companies' shares went up, because mean that their contracts are extended. They can arrest as much as possible, even though they can process them, because it's illogical. You cannot process all those people they arrested. But hence, any day they hold them, the government pays them. Anyone they arrest, the government pays them. Which is not to the interest of the United States itself. Because the United States have been dependent on migrants. The United States was found by migrants. The United States progress on migrants, be the intellectual, be the labor, be the every form of development is being engineered by migrants. Every sector in the country depends on migrants. But today, the government is enforcing migrant control. For what? For the corporate interests, those who have bribed Trump, those who have put Trump into government, because Trump was so desperate that if he did not get into government, he would be in jail. Now, what do you expect Americans to do? What else? The Supreme Court, it's not serving. They're testing the Supreme Court and they're getting away with it. The institutions in America are failing. The most incompetent people today are the one manning the administrations in America. That's what dictators do. The most incompetent citizens are the one manning the State Department and every area that Trump wants to influence. This is just to have an understanding of the importance of our fundamental human rights. We have to understand this. It's about accountability. It's about accountability to self, accountability to the systems. Government don't like it. They don't like it. No, these governments would never be progressive if they're not challenged, if they're not held accountable. And protest demonstrations are part of that accountability. The check and balance systems fails. They get captured. Right now, Barrow is captured. He is not serving the interests of Gambia. He have manipulated, appointed weak people, corrupt people in head of institutions, be the police, be the armed forces, be everything else. Now he command them. And you know the worst they did? Why do you think Ibrahim Silla is coming out panicking? Demba Sabal is coming out panicking? Because it's only in Adam Barrow's government they were ministers. But not only ministers, it's only in an Adam Barrow like government. Like government, they become millionaires. All these people are millionaires, not because they are paid to be millionaires, because they are absolutely corrupt people, and they know that when they lose power, they are going to jail. And they're going to lose everything. This is why they're panicking. They're panicking because they know these demonstrations are a mechanism that can bring them down. These demonstrations are a mechanism that can unite Gambians. They like to deal with political parties. That's why you can read from what Silla was saying. Oh, let the youth stand back. Let the activists stand back. Let us just deal with politicians, because we know how to marginalize them. We have strategies that can work on them, divide them, and we can whichever party would stand any chance, then we can concentrate on that party and get them out of it, and we continue to do what we used to do. This is why they are panicking, because what the Gala protest is doing is bringing out accountability to a level that will make sure the check and balance system works. Our parliament have failed. We know that. How many times? All the legislation they vote for, and the executive will always bring out legislations that will empower them in their pockets. Look at how much they gain, how much our parliamentarians gain since Barrow came to power. They have all sorts of allowances. They have land, cars, clothing, and everything else. You think those parliamentarians are loyal to your political parties? Not absolutely. They are loyal to themselves. They are not loyal to Gambian people. They will try everything to maintain their seats in parliament. That's the only threat they have. It's for themselves, it's not for Gambian people. That's why it's time for Gambians to come out and stand up, knowing that the systems have failed, and we have to hold them accountability, but by coming out, protesting and demonstrating and protesting against them. This is what they fear. This is what was going to equal the level playing field. We make our demands and make sure we achieve them. The accountability is against corruption, and corruption is not only them stealing our money, but taking our rights and making sure corrupting our systems in a form that they will stay for forever, or until the country get completely disrupted. It's a choice. If they allow democracy to thrive, they will not stay there long. They know that. They know that. That's why it's our right, and it's about accountability, and this accountability is part of due process. Let nobody lie about it. I have seen a chief from Birkama. He doesn't look knowledgeable of even the Quran. He doesn't even understand the Quran. If he had, he would understand what jihad was. He would have understand what the word jihad means, saying that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahabas, these people protested before anybody else. Coming because of the corruption that the position he's hold, trying to tell Gambians that, it's not Islamic, it's not. That's a lie. And he knows he's lying. He knows he's lying. Because protest is unto self and others. It's fundamental for Muslims to raise jihad on themselves, on issues, whether in their heart or in on their tongue or with their hands, or even to give their life for the meaningful cause. How can someone turn around to say, oh, Muslims? When have Islam ever been banned? But they have fear because they know the importance. And they have registered the success. And we'll get to the success of it. Gala demonstration, we know the background. We don't expect things to be perfect. Things are not going to be perfect. But we know that as things start, things will. Gradually, we give them the support, we give them the mentor, we give them every form of empowerment for them to progress. What we're looking for is progress. We are not looking for perfection because we cannot achieve that perfection. We want progress. And that's what Gala is representing. It's representing progress. How many times did we say, oh, Gambians would not come out, Gambians want to come out, Gambian cannot come out, Gambian cannot come, the youths are not this, Gambian youths are not that. Now we have seen progress. This is what's important, progress. We don't expect overnight for someone to do something perfectly. We want to see progress. That's where we can measure and to attain that perfection if we will ever do. But as we progress, our demands been met, what we change, the objectives. It's not perfection, it's the objective met. If we can achieve that. It's about accountability. It started talking about the properties that they looted from us. With the president himself, his family, most of the people around him, they are the ones that did it. That's why they don't want it. Look, if you haven't done anything wrong as a government, you'll be so transparent. You will not be honest. We are not looking for honest governments. We are looking for transparent government. We determine how honest you are. You cannot tell us you are honest. We want to see that honesty. We are not listening to what you're telling us. We are watching you. Make it transparent so that we can have access for the information. And we can tell whether you're honest or not. And if you deny us that, we are not going to wait for elections to confront you. Because we have to confront you, in fact, to make sure those elections are free and fair. But we are not going to wait until all the institutions get corrupted or completely in disarray so that we talk about elections. We might not even get to elections then. In this process of demonstration, protest, what we do is hold the bad hand and try to force the good hand. We respected the mandate. This second term is a mandate we respected. And if any Gambian, progressive Gambian, knowledge accepted, refuse to accept the president running for a third term, they have a right to demand the president to come down. We are not only going to the latter, we are going to the spirit of our laws, we are going to the spirit of our democracy. It's something we fought for. People died for the democracy. This is not something we negotiated on the table. People sweat, died, and everything for that democracy. Adam Barrow cannot sit on our heads and dictate us, saying, and because of he can change the goalpost. No. Gambians, progressive Gambians would be against that one way or the other. And let them be ready for that. If Gambians want that, that's what we're going to support. He's not going to go. This is what they don't like. Let's talk a bit about protest in the Gambia. Leadership of protest. Leadership of protest. You see, there are people out there, hypocritical Gambians, who might not tell you that they align with the NPP, because they don't align with the NPP. They align with what? The state capture, those people controlling the NPP. Those are the people they align with. These are the people, they are family members, they are friends, they themselves are relying on the loot from government. They don't want to see change. They will come always, if they see anything progressing in that Gambia that can bring about change, that will make them lose, they will go against it. They will find a way to undermine it. It's the same people whom their family members, their friends, family members, all themselves are part of the drug cartel that turned that country into a drug hub. They don't want change. because they want the system the way it is. You know, when we talk about the drug cartel or the drugs, we only think of people holding the drug position. No, it's the money, the proceeds of the drugs, the lifestyle they get from it. The lifestyle, they don't want change. They will try to behave as if they are against government. But any opportunity that will make sure that government is removed or been held to account, which would make the government more unpopular, they will come divisively among us, pretending to be independent. No, I don't support the opposition, but I don't support Barrow. It's not true. You either support an opposition party or support the opposition as opposed to Barrow, but you don't support Barrow, you don't support the opposition. That's not true. That doesn't mean independent. In a battle of two, you have to be part of one. With us or without us. You can belong to different political party, or you can say that I don't singly support any single political party, but I support the position of the opposition. No, no, that's a lie. They know what they're doing, and they're the worst. You see, people who go against those the charity pickers within the NPP, talking about them or against them. Don't fear them. Those people are showing themselves. They are just trying to survive. Most of them were when Jammeh came, they were with Jammeh. Most of those people, parents, they were with Jawara when Jawara came, and the next government, they will try to be part of that. That's what they know. If your school fees was paid for by means of doing wrong, you were fed by means of doing wrong, everything, that's how you're going to grow up, and that's the person you're going to be. You will not have the morals, or the character to stand to say right, or see right, or stand with right. It's breathed in people now. It's breathed in people. One cannot see the suffering in that country. One cannot see that country where it's leading and say that you are not against Barrow. Or they turn around and, oh, I am against Barrow, but you know the opposition cannot deal with this thing. You have to be an agent of change. None of us can determine the next person taken from Barrow. But what we can determine is to make sure we have a fair level playing field. Make sure our democracy is respected, and whoever managed to convince Gambians, whether we like the person or not, that's the process of change. If they come to government, we hold them accountable. But it's here, there, neither here, neither there. They are hypocrites. And these are the people. They will start on the leadership of Gala. Or Ben Suarez is part of it. Ben is this. Binta is part of it. Ben is this. Benta is this. Fatu is part of it. When they are not better than those. Probably, unfortunately for those people, some of them very young, some of their mistakes are televised. Some of these people go and find out who they are, who they associate, who they support. They are worse than the people that they point their fingers among the leadership of Gala. No, none of us support wrongdoing, one way or the other. But we have to comprehend the mistakes that young people do. The young people today are in a very difficult generation. Everything is televised. Everything is captured. They are held accountable like never. Never. We are not supporting them for them. But we expect, just as any citizen that have done wrong, to be rehabilitated. How do we rehabilitate them? Depends on the due process they go through. If they go to prison and come out, we want them to be better citizens. We don't want them to return to prison. That's a society we are breeding. When they make mistakes and offend and apologize, we accept them and try to mend them so that they will not continue to make those mistakes to be offending people. If they commit crimes, we expect them to go through the due process, and and through the due process, they will be dealt with that. They can be punished and be rehabilitated. They can come back. You can tell us that you can accept your people that will do anything, but you have to nip and dip sitting somewhere. At least these young people have taken position of leadership. Regardless who their fathers were, their mothers were, their brothers were, or what they have done, or whatever, or even themselves, what they have done before. They have been held accountable on that, or they'll be held accountable on that, but that would not stop us from supporting them if they come out to stand on something of our mutual interest. They are not doing it because they're holding these people accountable. No. They are only holding the gala leaders accountable because they are divisive, because they want to undermine the progress. They care not of if any of those gala leaders have done something wrong or not. They care of not of that. They care not of that. It's them is defending the system. You will never have seen them raise anything to hold any of those gala men accountable until those people came out and they have seen success happening on them. That's why we are appealing to those gala leadership to be very mindful, to understand the position of leadership they're taking onto themselves. Nobody forced them, nobody appointed them. They came out to stand for what they believe in. They organized themselves. We appreciate that, we respect that, and they are gaining national respect. This is one of the highest achievements one would have, regardless of your past mistakes or doing or not done. If you get to the national platform where people recognize you and standing up to claiming to represent people, be very careful. Appreciate all the support that God comes to you and take it into you to know that you are taking a task that is far greater than you. You have to be very careful. They will come after you in many ways. They will come after you in many ways. But the leadership, every cause would have leaders. Do we know, can we remember the life of Malcolm X? Can we remember the life of Malcolm X? Who can claim to be a better person than Malcolm X today? If Malcolm X had died in prison, what would we have remembered? But he did not only come on, he came onto the global platform and to be standing today. Today we are still, people are still commenting and quoting Malcolm and seeing his example of his life. Malcolm went to prison. Malcolm did certain things as a young man. But that was not him who he ended up to be. One of the most righteous people we have today on earth, or that we have lived with on this earth, is Malcolm. Malcolm, one of the most righteous among us. I'm not talking about the prophets. Among us, the mortals here, Malcolm would be one of the that will count for us. Not even clergies or imams or clergies or anything else. We will jump onto Malcolm. You might ask a Christian, he will not say the Pope. You might ask a Muslim, he might not say the Imam, but he can tell you Malcolm because of how Malcolm inspired them. And this is what the young people should remember. The leaders of Gala, this is what they can remember. That they can be the greater person, nationally and in fact internationally. They are fighting a cause, they are leading a cause, they are representing a cause. The cause is greater than them. The cause is greater than them. That's why they need our support, one way or the other. Anyhow they come. A cause have to be led. And they have taken the initiative and they have led. And we have started to see the green shoots. It's becoming successful and they are going to be dealt with. And we should be dealt with then. If Gala, the leaders are to be dealt with, you should be dealt with. The leadership of protest. The next is the ownership of protests. Protests are not owned by the leaders. They are part of the owners. The initiators, you call them the initiators, the leaders, the thinkers, or whatever they are not the owner of the protest or the demonstration. The it is owned by all of us. It's a cause. If you believe in that cause, you are part of that. You might be physically there or not. You might be spiritually supporting them, financially supporting them, intellectually supporting them. One way or the other, there's a way you can support them. And you'll be part of it if you believe in the cause they're fighting for. You know the difference here? I might have people in my streets here marching for their fundamental rights, for their sexuality and everything else. I might not march with them, but I support their rights so much. I support their rights so much. But if I have people out here, just as I have Gala in the Gambia, marching for me, standing for me, advocating for me, it's part of the cause I believe in. I support that cause one way or the other, and this is why we are sitting here. In a nutshell, is to explain that the ownership of protest is not Gala. If Gala failed, it's not that the leaders of Gala had failed. Yes, we all will be held accountable one way or the other, but most probably we fail. We fail them probably, that's why they will fail. But we are supporting them. That's probably when they're successful, we say that Gala's success is a success, and we are success. We are success. Then the protest, the demonstration is our own. They are not representing themselves. They are representing the Gambian people that believe in the progress of Gambia, the people that believe in the decency of Gambian people, the people that care about the suffering of Gambian people, the people that care about the future of Gambian people. Gala is not a political organ. Gala is not asking to lead the Gambia, to take over political office. No. They are asking for that country to be run better, that country to operate better, people to meet their potential, institutions to run well, and political party to be treated fairly. Everything else is about accountability they're calling for. Then the ownership of that is for all of us that want to see these things they're calling up for. If you believe in that, you are part of supporting that Gala. It's inclusive. That's why our advice to Gala leadership is, to be successful, you have to be intentionally inclusive as much as possible. And that is contact all stakeholders, so you can that would be part of you. The Gambia unions, the teachers, we know that, most of these unions are led by people who would not be, but the people within the unions have to be contacted and encouraged to force their unions to come out, to be part of this, because that's the only way their unions can achieve the set objectives. Be the teachers, be the nurses unions, or any other for the public workers union, every form of unions we have, drivers and transport union, everything should be consulted and be part of the next demonstrations. Part of the next demonstrations. It's about being inclusive. And that inclusive, let me explain something. Nothing should stop someone who subscribes to political party to come out and part of it. When they come out, they are not coming out with their political party colors. They are not coming out with their symbols. They are not coming out with anything. But they are coming out as Gambians. They have a right to be part of that. They are not coming out to politicize it, to represent their party or anything. They are coming to represent themselves as Gambians. Be it youth or be it women or be it whatever it is, being as Gambians. We expect them to be all out, everybody to be out there. What Gala is leading, what Gala is fighting for all of us. And the leadership of Gala is not going to be fixed. It's about taking ownership. Leadership of Gala, they took ownership. Nobody appoints them. Nobody paid them. Nobody motivated them in any other way. They found their motivation. They found their unity of purpose and everything and came together as a leadership. Now that leadership is going to evolve. What's going to make it evolve? The greater the people involvement and that leadership will be recognized in individuals and nothing can change that leadership to expand, to evolve to a bigger umbrella. It's a start. It's not the end yet. We are measuring the success because we know how far we came. We know how far to get here. And we'll come to talk about the credits. The divisiveness we have to be very careful of. Let us be patient. We cannot expect excellence. Just what we expect is progress every day, every minute, anytime we hear them advocate where they say something wrong, we find a way to help them rectify that, not to condemn them. Because one member cannot just come out and say something wrong and we all, this is why it's going to fail. Most people saying that they want it to be fail. Because I can tell you, none of those would they have their brother say something in public, their own brother something in public which is wrong, and they come and condemn them in public. I'll never condemn my own brother in public. I'll pull them back, I'll condemn them. If I have to fight with them, I'll fight with them, but I'm not going to do that in public. Because that would be exposing my family to be failed. But I will not allow my brother too to be wrong and say to be wrong, because that too exposes my family. The best way to deal with it, I'll bring it to the family. Then if we see any weakness or mistakes being committed as people who believed and want to see the progress, we should find a way to put that through. And so that we fix that. Not to come, let's condemn him. You have to condemn him. Why he was not condemned? Condemn him that there does not fix it. Probably if even going to force a person to dig up and to stand to defend himself, because he's human. He doesn't want to be humiliated. But an approach can be done. They will use many divisive means. And I said, be careful of those people telling you, oh, I am only civil society, I don't support Barrow, I don't support any opposition party because of none of the opposition parties is this, because of this. We are not saying that there's no, we are not looking at evil or lesser evils or anything here. We are looking at people's their right. People's their right and their responsibilities. Take your right and your responsibility and do what you're supposed to do. Nobody forces you to belong to anything. But you cannot stand to say that I am not belonging to anything. But whenever you say something, we know, we can read within the line to know what you are doing. You are undermining anything that holds this government accountable. You are undermining anything that's progressive again, and going towards this government. The success of Gala protest. The success if when we understand demonstration protest. Gala called for about four items on their demands. If we look at the people that turn up, how many demands are there? Probably we rarely have 60 demands, because every group or person or this thing came out with a demand. And all those demands represent thousands of Gambians. Then the success will be measured on that. People standing there are representing. There might be many reasons why many people did not come out. Apprehension. But people are still apprehensive because the culture of protest have died down in Gambia. If you read our political history, before independence, Gambians are known for protest. But it died down. Because the marginalization in the First Republic, PPP, and we know the suppression and within in the dictatorship. It will take time to build. And I tell you, with the approach with Gala is building faster than we can even assume, if you are realistic. I'm not talking about the armchair or the keyboard heroes that will say, they are going out, they don't do anything, they'll go and come back. Yes, because of that person is divisive saying that. If you are realistic and record from where we're coming from and where we are today, you will recognize the success of Gala. From that young boy who was talking about going to school. You see, I know some of this thing came very humorous. But take your time and listen to it. And possibly just close your eyes and listen to that young boy. It will not be humorous. Saying that ñun dañoo ut lift. Man dama dee ut lift. Because so jëndee mbuuroo ñebe is $35 or $40. That young boy, if how much the parents have to earn to give him $40 is every week, every day for the week. How much is that for a month? How much that parent have to earn just for the lunch of that chap for mburo ñebe? And this is mburo ñebe. It's not that nutritious. $40. And now the chap is telling you that the amount would lift. You know what the amount would lift means? I might be late to school. I might be late to getting back home. Probably 2 hours, 3 hours, God knows. That will affect my rest time. That will affect my time to catch up with my homework. That will affect a lot. If you account for that child already has been failed before he attempted these exams. And we wonder why our children get failed. But the risk of the chap standing there waiting for the lift to an hour, 2 hour, jumping onto a car or whatever it is, how safe it is, he doesn't care. Overloaded vehicle or not, a truck or not, hanging on or not, the child will just jump in because he just want to get home. Desperate. Because we have a government we had governments and have a government that did not ratify this. Because their children are not affected. For that school girl who was standing there to say that my education matters to me. Yeah. We all know the impact of education in anybody, especially the child in the Gambia. Do we think of that? When Gala came out, they were not talking about breakfast. They were not talking about these things. But some of these things we take it as humor. But these are the fundamental costs people are living through. Gala did not come out for the health system. You have seen people saying about health system. The health system that even if you can afford the private, you are not treated. There's every Gambian that is sick in the Gambia is at a threat of losing their life. Not even that because you cannot afford to pay. Even if you afford to pay, the health system is so bankrupt that you cannot pay your way out. You cannot even pay your way out. Other people are coming out for different reasons. And do you know what? The government knows it's a success. If Gala had come out, and when they came out, it's not about the numbers. People are counting on the numbers. No, that's not where you count. The numbers are very impressive, but that's not where you count the success. You have to look at the course being fought. When Gala came out for 4 courses, how many courses been fought? 60 courses or more have been fought. And they are all fundamental, important to Gambians. That person showing that placard, he's not for themselves alone. It's representing those youths or those women or whatever it is. That's a success. And let me tell you something. This is why the government is panicking. The Arab Spring and everything else starts from people recognizing that they have something that need to unite them. The government tried on Gambian, been very divisive. The Gambian, that's why they were happy when this tribal thing came up. That's what they thrive on. That's what they socially engineer people to see difference. They want to socially engineer us. Some of these people you hear saying, oh, the Fajara people, they're doing it deliberately. They themselves know that that perspective of Fajara is either one is ignorant or one is deliberately trying to mislead. Either that person is ignorant or is trying to mislead. Because go and look at the facts. Go and look at the check sheets in Fajara. Who are the people that live in Fajara? 99% of those people are hardworking people that have the education, that work hard and achieve what they did. They did not steal their property. They did not steal anything. And they have built generation well because of they were fortunate, they were privileged to have education at the time, that many Gambians did not have. And I give you an example that you want to tell me those people from Kudang stole their properties in Fajara. Go and see the percentage of people from Kudang that live in Fajara. And we all know those families, how much hard work they did to be educated, privileged to be educated. And they work hard to have that education. And now today, not they are talking about their grandfather's education, their grandfather sowing the seed for today, them becoming doctors and everything else. When people started to be doctors in the 70s and so on, that was a great achievement. It's a great achievement today to become a medical doctor. Or to be a seasonal lawyer, or to be a seasonal accountant or other stuff. But the divisiveness, they want you to believe that. This is the same way they want you to believe in the Fuller hegemony, in the Mandinka hegemony, in the other hegemonies. Most of these hegemonies they are nothing but criminals themselves, but they don't represent the Mandinkas, they don't represent the Fullers, they don't represent the Jolas. Because of Gambia, we are all interconnected, interrelated. The more we stay here, the more our lineage get intertwined into every other tribe in the Gambia. There's no Gambian that is of today's generation that did not have a mixed family. Then how can you say that you are protecting a tribe based on a mafia hegemony? That mafia hegemony is only for them and their kids. That's what they're doing to and destabilize our countries. We don't allow that. This is what that's why the protest, if a political party have organized a protest, which other political parties, I can tell you, will be failure. The government know that. That's why they don't like it being successful. Because Gala, they will try to tag Gala negative as much as possible. But we should not allow that. Gala should not allow it, we should not allow it. They will try to break it down. But this is why it's successful and this is why they're fearful. The Arab Spring. Let me give you an example of the Arab Spring in Egypt. The dictatorship in Egypt stayed in power. They were corrupt and everything. Because what they did was, the security sector for that matter, control the country. They control the economy, they control everything. But just one thing they assured was a secular state per se. To say that all the perceived enemies of each other will make sure we secure you guys, we secure the minority, we secure the Druze Christians, we secure the Alawite community, we secure the Sunni community, we secure that. All was done by manipulation. Everybody to be fear of others, and the minorities to fear the majority. And they stayed like that. They had all form of complaints to the thing, but it was a catalyst. When it went bang, it was what? Because of police brutality. But when people came out to demonstrate, people demonstrate about bread price, bread. People demonstrate for the lack of jobs. People demonstrate for many stuff. Eventually, that's what caused it. When it was in Tunisia, the same thing. It was not because one young trader just set themselves up. That was the catalyst. When the people came out, they came out for different reasons. This is why this government is very scared. Because we have not gone through it through a catalyst, but it took organization. This is why Gala have the potential. Because they did not come out of a catalyst, and the catalyst is not like a physical harm or physical emergency. The catalyst might be the reporting of the corruption of the Janneh Commission by the Republic. We can look at that to say this is the catalyst that really brought them out. But I can tell you, it's been building up in every Gambian, every part of the Gambia. There are issues that should bring people out. The environment, the people's property, every kind of corruption. And the evidence is there. The reason Ibrahim Asia is fearful today if I'm a becoming a millionaire, a freelance journalist who doesn't have it, he would never want to be out of government. Because if he goes out of government, he'll likely go broke. Because his lifestyle, he cannot maintain it because he doesn't have the potential to maintain that lifestyle. He have done everything before getting to this. We are not going to go personal. We all know. We know where the dead bodies are buried. We know a lot, but we are not going to go personal. Demba Sabali. Why do you think? The same thing. That's what they fear for. Barrow himself, that's why he's fearful. It's the crimes they have committed, or the crimes they continue to commit to Gambians. The government handling of the aftermath. I have seen Gambians celebrating or congratulating the police. I'll give it to some. But I tell you one thing. I don't congratulate people for doing a job that they've been paid for. I congratulate people when they go above. I don't congratulate people because you've been beating me every day. But today I've walked past, you haven't beaten me. I have to be happy for you. I mean, no, that's too cheap. I can tell you one thing. It's not goodwill. The police did not police us for goodwill, for good measures. What they did was they calculated. The last time we handled this wrong. We can. It's not history. We handled this wrong. How can we deal with this one? It's best to avoid and to give them a short distance to cover, to give them a short time to congregate. Because the international is watching. Again, we have to try and manage this. One, international is watching is one. Two, they want to manage it and gradually chip off. They will come with political strategies, they will come with other things. They will come after Gala. If I say they'll come after Gala, they will try and bribe them, they will try and do anything, they will try something divisive, they will use their friends, they will use different things, methods, and mechanisms to destroy the foundation. Gala is the foundation. That's why I say they need to broaden their leadership. They need to, be more inclusive, bring in the union, bring in other stakeholders to make it very difficult for them to be dismantled. Now, they realize this. They say, okay, let's do this. But they have created something they don't realize. Now, they did the policing. Right. That's what they're paid for. They are there to serve us. They are there to serve us. Now they were assuming, thinking that the Gala guys will not be experienced. They will just do this and walk away and will take a long time. And before that, we'll get to them. We'll get to them. Because this is the only way we can handle it. Now they have realized that when we go violent, it might even be we are out of hand and we're not able to control it. They are not doing it charitably. They are not doing it because they believe in what they're doing. It's a strategy. Then when we applaud them, let us be very careful what we applaud. It's the same people. They haven't changed. Their mindset have not changed. It's their political leadership who are dictating still. Let us not be fools. But we'll get to the catch-22 on this case. Now, to tell you that the political masters came out, right? If they believed and they try to praise themselves, you see, Gambia Barrow is democratic. That's why Barrow allowed this and that. How can someone say that lie and comfortable go to bed? The same Barrow that came and said what I did to them at the 3 years judgment. The same Barrow that came out few weeks ago to say that I will do them this when everybody come out. Few days ago, in fact. How can that person be democratic? Overnight. Gambia, at times, we are very forgetful. How can we turn around, oh, this person has been democratic overnight? You know, it's only Barrow government that will allow this. It's a lie. Barrow government have to allow it first. It's our right. should not negotiate the right. We should beg for our right. And it's our responsibility as well. We should not wait for anybody to tell us to do. Whoever jump off or to do, let them support them for what they can do. And if we can join them and support them to do it any way or form, we should support them. But it's not determined by government. Let them not play that trick to you, on you. They're not, they have shown their hands. And we'll come to Ibrahim Silla, we'll come to Malo. That's where we're going to end the analysis. They came up. And these are the people we hear. Do you realize what they are talking behind the scenes? Do you realize what they're talking about behind the scenes? Because they can see the effectiveness of this. And I give you an example of that. In Senegal. You see, people jump and credit Pastef. Pastef will be credited. But I can tell you, it's a cycle. Change is a cycle. Pastef would not have possible 20 years ago in Senegal. No. No. It's a cycle. You go, change is a cycle. The establishment had to, in fact, start to implode within for an anti-establishment to emerge. The establishment started to implode when Senghor realized that the contract he'd taken from the French, with all the atrocities, all the bad laws and everything he took from the French, is becoming challenging for him to deal with. Senghor being a wise, serial man, cherish his peace and sanity. Because if you understand what leadership does to you, especially being a president in Africa, Senghor, technically, he ended up not having a family. Because what you do, you lose your family. You lose your family. But he ended up taking a retirement because he cannot continue dealing with this daunting task. He was smarter than Ouattara and smarter than those idiots staying in as presidents, just doing the French bidding and to sit on wealth that they will never enjoy. Senghor decided to start a transition, to try to sustain the establishment. Then he passed it on to a technocrat who was Abdou Diouf. Abdou Diouf managed that and continued that bad rule. It was a bad rule. Democracy was not going to change. The democracy they had would not ever bring an opposition to win an election. They went through that to the extent of it became violent. It became violent. It was not sustainable anymore. A time before Wada winning elections, it was so violent that they had to have a unity government, that Wada had to go to cabinet. Wada had to go as a state minister to cabinet for the country to be stabilized. There was a particular night, people who were in the intelligence, so some of us knew, Abdou Diouf had to take the Sangomar. That was the Air Force plane that time. Sangomar, and flew into the Gambia and spent overnight in the Gambia. That's when Metar, the election supervisor was assassinated. They were confused. They didn't know where these things were coming from. Then it went on to the point that they realized, the opposition came to senses to realize that they have to build a coalition called a SOPI coalition. You see, when I advocate for coalitions, I am not a fan of coalition government. I like political parties having a full mandate so that we can hold them accountable. Let them have their project or their a vision, and we hold them accountable for that. But if it comes a time, in order to make change possible, you have to go through a coalition. And Senegal, Abdou Diouf would not have lost that election. But even they forced Abdou Diouf to introduce a two-term. He lengthened the two-term by putting 2 7 years. It was under pressure. Pressure, the demonstration. It was not the political parties. It was University of Dhaka, the unions and others putting pressure on Abdou Diouf. Then the politician came onto it. If it was only the politicians, Abdou would not have flinked. There would not have been any term limit in Senegal. People that know will tell you. At that time, there was no country that had a 7 years term limit. People who really know what went on in the corridor of power knew why Abdou Diouf came with his 7 years term. It's not that easy. Now, the success of the pressure from University of Dhaka and other institutions, the unions, pushing, the youths, pushing, they had to start to reform their democracy. And the opposition catching onto that. That's when they come with the SOPI, S-O-P-I. SOPI means change, the change coalition. That's how Abdoulaye Wade came into power. Abdoulaye Wade came into power, as politicians often do, thinking that now it's about distributing wealth to influential bodies and people in order to hijack power. He created a network of influencers. Before the word influencers became fashionable, it was already in operations. He had a cabal, and they call themselves and they associate themselves part of the Muridia Brotherhood. They hijack the Muridia movement, the Samuel Sarr and others, in order to hold on to power. In order to hold on to power. Abdoulaye Wade went on, very divisive, but very generous by giving out money. You see, someone like Abdou Diouf was not known to be generous in giving out. Abdou Diouf was not that kind of a corrupt president. Abdou Diouf and Senghor were kind of politicians who were mainly serving policies towards the the French interest, for that matter, the French interest, to the extent that not the Brits, not the Americans even had influence in Senegal. It's only when Abdoulaye Wade came in, he started to get, open up. Astagfirullah, just at the tail end, during the Iraq War, the first Iraq War, and that too, Senegal went involved because of France, not America. But because of they get involved with something America-led, America started to have a little bit of influence. If only when Abdoulaye Wade came, he made sure he started to hedge his bets. Get into the Arabs, get into the Gaddafis and others, and doing something conventional in Senegalese governance systems, but corrupting the entire system with money. No political party would have won an election. Never. He had that. But guess what? What we have today that we look at, say, Gala, was Yanamar. Yanamar, the youths came out and said rupture. They want change. And they started to say that third term is not going to be allowed here for Abdoulaye Wade. They tried. 14 people were killed, brutalized. Some people were chased into mosque and shot in Senegal. In Senegal. If you want change, you have to understand what it takes to change. Yanamar stood the test of time. And the outrage from the way Abdoulaye Wade treated Yanamar made a deciding lot of people to decide to side with the opposition. Abdoulaye Wade changed the constitution, went to a constitutional referendum, changed the constitution that allowed him to run third term. Now, they cannot stop him to run third term. They tried to stop him to run third term. They did not achieve that. Do you know what, though? Yanamar became the catalyst for the opposition to win elections. And if I say the opposition, then how to call it? Macky Sall came out from Abdoulaye Wade's government, he have read the political landscape and realized that it's ripe to take, and there was no opposition party out there to take it. What he did was, because he was the last campaign manager for that election passed, he was the vice president, he was the prime minister and the campaign manager for Abdoulaye Wade. He was the one who went all over the assets. He knew the assets entirely in the country of Senegal. Whilst people were fighting in Dakar, Y'en a marre was leading the fight for that matter. It was, you can still find the videos, when you see Mustafa Niass, elderly statespeople holding stones to confront the gendarmes. Elderly politicians, the opposition, elderly, their party leaders holding stones to confront Abdoulaye Wade. Because the catalyst of those demonstrations was on the back of Y'en a marre. The time Macky Sall reached Dakar, it was at the top of it. Then they went to the elections. Macky Sall came on top because of the investments he had as prime minister and campaign manager. That gave him a lead. And because of they have a second round system, the opposition came around to back him. But if it was not the rupture that Y'en a marre has called for, Macky Sall would not be there. Eventually, what Macky Sall did, Y'en a marre was the first. He went after them, suppressed them, but next minute he bought them out. And went on to buy out any other opposition party. But what he did not understand that he now cleared the way for a new anti-establishment to come out. That's why if Gambians say we want a Sonko, this Sonko, it have to take a permit. We have to go through a cycle to bring out something of positive. We cannot just jump and have a positive. You see, this is why the government now would be very scared that Gala can be that Y'en a marre. And better than Y'en a marre, in fact. Because the Y'en a marre had lots of weaknesses. And why they would be better? Because they have the opportunity to learn from the mistakes and weaknesses of Y'en a marre and do things better. This is why the government is scared. And they came, instead of coming out, if they were democratic, if they had believed in democracy, if they had believed in everything they said, oh, because of this, they would have said, we get you, and we are going to deal with this. But do we understand something? Barrow's government administration is beyond saving. Barrow cannot bring about any reforms again. Barrow cannot arrest corruption. Corruption is Barrow. The lack of reforms is Barrow. Because of this incompetent and his incompetent administration, they cannot do it. It takes leadership to reform. Barrow cannot lead a reform government. His people cannot lead a reform government. Not his vice president, not his chief of staff, not anybody in that government. They are absolutely incompetent, absolutely corrupt. Barrow cannot touch any form of corruption in the Gambia to eradicate it or to arrest it or put it under control. Even the drug cartel is captured in Barrow right now. How many soldiers? Over dozens of soldiers are arrested. Still nobody would report it. Because they're trying to kill it off. Kill the case off because of the chief of CDS, Cham, is implicated. Because of the chief of the Navy is implicated. Farah Job is implicated. Now he's trying to appoint Cham as the defense minister. This is why he's still holding on. Because of the cloud over Cham on the drug cartel, because of the cloud over Cham for the killing of the cops. You know, when that case is fully investigated, I am saying that's an allegation. I am saying there's an allegation. I emphasize for the third time there's an allegation that the army have played a role in the killing of the cops. Because of the presence of those 3 soldiers, it's not, it's not coincidental anymore. We have listened to the testimony. We have seen cross-examination, re-examination, and it have come out very clearly in the courts of law. They cannot account for their, their presence in that. And other things that people knew about that have not come out through the courts. Now, that's why he's holding onto the position. He doesn't know how to go about it. But he wants to give it to Cham. He's not giving it to Cham because of Cham is competent. Or Cham is incompetent, he's corrupt, he's have the worst of traits of characters of human. For someone who knows him very well. Me. But he's given to him because this is what desperate government do. They look for someone they say think is loyal. And Cham cannot be loyal to anybody. To himself. But they cannot see that. Because he would say anything and do anything to be where he is today. But whenever he have the opportunity to be somewhere else, he would be somewhere else. But Barrow would not know that. This is why they are scared. That's the only reason Barrow would appoint his brother-in-law as the Inspector General of Police. It's only reason that why they have the look at how they have people they appoint in strategic positions. They do it because of based on loyalty. This is the only reason he have Ablai Sanyang as the Interior Minister. Because of he have delivered the last elections. Then Gambia, this is why we have to understand the need for a coalition of opposition parties. We need for change. It's for the need for change. Now, the future of our democracy, policing and politicization of our rights. This is something we have to understand. A government like this will never, ensure democracy to thrive. No. They are not capable of holding it. If democracy thrive, they will not be there. This government have already committed enough crimes. And economic crime for that matter, but now they are going onto the realms of human rights. Because if again, caveat, if the police cops killing is determined that it was state sponsored, that would be one of the hideous crimes. And which is very likely, as per the evidence through the courts. Now, you think this government is comfortable? You think Barrow is comfortable that he can, to leave power when he cannot determine? He cannot determine the outcome of the courts or how to handle that thing. And if Gambian resist, Barrow would likely, if we resist properly, if we are very inclusive and stand properly, Barrow is we will have our outcomes, our democratic settings and everything, and go to elections, and the person to win will be determined. But if we are not organized, go ask people who have looked into this. Go and look at the recruitment of the PIU as recent, past 5 years. If you look at the recruitment of the PIU 5 years, you'll know how these people think. That's why I don't credit them for supervising demonstration. And you think that what is, you have to understand their mindset. You have to understand their motivation. Because Barrow have created a system, a government that absolute corruption ruled. Ministers, permanent secretaries, even gatekeepers. Taking the most incompetent people to be your advisors, to be gatekeepers. Now those people can afford stuff they can never afford because they don't have the potential to do it themselves. If people like Sehumbaro cannot survive in the Bronx, today you see Sehumbaro, he looks better, he feels better, he dressed better and everything. Because of what? Is it because of his talent? What potential did Sehumbaro have to be around the president to feel like that? Apart from hypocrisy and spouting tribalism and divisive politics. And you can talk about the same thing about Dusano and others. Look, let us not be complex to call it as it is. It's about meritocracy. Nobody is looking down at anybody. But if people occupy offices, they are not fit for purpose, we should call it out. And not shy away from, oh, Ben thinks he's better. Not absolutely. As humans, we're not better than each other, but as our potential, we should be recognized according to our potential. and rewarded or offered or appointed based on those that we have. But if it's done any other way, we should call it out. That's our democracy would not be given on a plate. Then we have got to this realization. Two things have to happen. We were ready to put pressure on Barrow. We're ready to come out. And coming out is more strategic for civil society to lead it. That's why the government is fearful. If a political party leads, we are in trouble. Because that's what they want. Then let us be very strategic to know that for us to have our objectives, we have to support civil society to stand with us. Our policing, we are only the one who can improve our policing. If we are ready to hold them accountable accordingly, and they realize that this government would go, and they will be held accountable if they misbehave or anything, that's how we start to hold them accountable. And in this day and age today with social media, with technology, we have so many ways to hold the police accountable. We know them. We are all from the same families. Anything they think or say or meet, this thing we can get to it. All it takes is us to organize ourselves. That's why we emphasize that the Gala need to be supported and recognize the leadership they have, and they themselves have to recognize that and understand that the leadership is not unique to them, but it's something to be brought in, and they need to consult and bring as much as possible, be the unions, be of any other distinct group that is not compromised, to stand with them, and the base will be brought in, and that's the way we can overcome. There will come a moment, we all have an entry position. What we call entry position, the opposition have an entry position, but not now. As opposition, some people say, yes, opposition will participate in Nopi. No, you have to understand how it works. When the opposition talk, they will turn around to say, Gala, political parties in put jail. That's not true. Gala is not demonstrating to take over government. Gala is demonstrating as your accountability. Political parties are politicking to take over government. Then we all have our entry position. We all have our, we'll have our entry position. We have our rights. We have our responsibilities. But Gala would be here to stay, to continue to do what they do. Now, the government catch-22 is here. The government have laid out a strategy by saying that, okay, let's observe. Because what we did last time, we were overwhelmed. If you understand the ticking time bomb in that country, if you organize the ticking time bomb, it will be lethal to the NPP. Lethal to the NPP, I can tell you that if they don't want to be corrected, they will not last to elections. You can get them out. They know that. They know that. But in what we call for, that we can hold them accountable to the point that the accountability that would be applied would be the catalyst for change. Would be a catalyst for change. It will not be change itself. The change should be coming wholesale. That depends on what the opposition parties do. How they come together. To be inclusive. For two things, because of people have learned a mistake. 2016 will not be replicated here. Nobody would allow that. It's change taken at Barrow, bringing in a new administration in order to serve the Gambian purpose of reforms and build the basis, the background of our democracy. Nobody that is progressive, that's sensible, will go for any form of change that will be of the same. This is not to empower. I, Ben Sware, there's no human being on earth worth its salt for me to fight for you to be in power. I fight for change to happen, and the person who deserves to be on power based on the political merits or the democratic merits to be on power. Because I am not personally looking for any benefit from that person or that administration. My personal interest would be for the greater interest, which is Gambia people. And this is what progressive will understand. then to cut it short, political parties should realize this fact, that there's no maneuvering in negotiations, in doing anything else, agendas can be put in for state to be captured by other few people. No, that's not the change we're looking for. But that change is possible, and that's the reality we have. Now, the catch-22 is here. They thought they realized that the last time they came with force, what happened? It spread. And if it continued, the government could have collapsed. Because the government is entirely rotten. Entirely rotten. There's nothing. I'll tell you something. There was one of them. I'm not going to give the direct decision. He was in America. That executive was shitting himself. Literally shitting himself. Day 2, day 3. Talking to a cousin said, where is this going to end? Because they thought that gala demonstration was going to end the government. They know they are fragile. ECOMOG is not here for people demonstrating. They were in fear. Barrow was in fear. They were all in fear. Because they know that people will go after them. This time round, they said, let's micromanage this. Let's find a way to put in strategies to this. That's why they did what they did. But because of now, they've realized that they underestimated, thinking that Gala would just come, march to here, give her this thing, and walk away. But they've now realized that no, Gala and the Gambian people are emboldened. Gala have gained a leverage here. People are having trust in them now. People are having confidence with them now. They are emboldened. They might call up next time, and this one will be bigger. They'll be more organized, and they can put pressure on us. This is why Ibrahim Asila is coming out. This is Demba Saba is coming out. And these are the loudest mouth coming out. I can tell you, they are petrified. And behind the scenes, Barrow will be petrified. You know, people, some of the things we don't understand. You know, Barrow went to Nigeria. People say we went to Buhari's thing. That was a decoy. Barrow is already looking at, look, Barrow is not confident of even running, you know. Coming out, I'll have 75% is a lie. That's if he can steal elections, and he's not confident that this time round he can do it. Because it will be more difficult this time round than ever. Already they have moved their properties from Senegal, and they're in Nigeria. In Abuja, they have a property now in Abuja for life after presidency. He's doing all this. He's building everything in Gambia, thinking and hoping that the divisive politics can lead him to entrench himself. But he's petrified. Find out people that know. How often the First Lady is in Nigeria? How often the First Lady is in Benin? How often the First Lady is in Togo? This is where now they're moving far away from where we are. They are connecting to Barros. You know the ambassador in Nigeria. You know the ambassador in Nigeria. Overseeing some of those territories. Those connections, those businesses, that's where they're doing now. That's where they're working their investment. They are not confident. They are not confident. We should realize that. They're bluffing. Now, these people coming out because of now, the catch-22 is, they gave out the permit. They police us, they did the policing right, without PI and everything. Now, we have determined something here. That the people coming out are not coming to be destructive. They're coming to protest, with their rights. Now, if the police do their work right, then there should not be a problem. Now, what did we realize here? What do we realize now? Now Gala have a leverage. People are more confident about them. People are more confident coming out. The youths are more listening. And if they do it right and organize properly, it will be overwhelming. Then, if they can do that overwhelming, the Gala would not allow, again, to be pigeonholed. To be said that this is the 1 meter, 2 meters, 100 meters, 200 meters. They can negotiate for more, and they have the leverage to say, if you don't give us that, we are going to come out and we go wherever we want. Because it's about accountability. And in accountability, there should be order. Then the safety, the Public Order Act, it's not by all any means to restrain our rights. That's why the fundamental freedoms is in a constitution, so that there's no legislation that can override the fundamental freedoms. It's not in our, it's not legislated in our law. It's in our supreme law. It's in this thing. Any legislation that infringe the constitution would be illegal. Then we are not going to take any interpretation of the law apart from the latter of it, with the support, with the spirit of the law, that our freedoms are to be guaranteed. We have the right to assembly. We have the right to protest. Now, this is the catch-22 they have. They allow us, Gala, more people come out. They deny us, Gala, organize, they can still overwhelm. And if they overwhelm this time, in fact, might lead to another catalyst. The catalyst they're afraid of is gradually the accountability, exposing them and everything, and they will drown. Because they are not comfortable with civil society being organized. They are comfortable with the opposition because they can always marginalize the opposition. They can always deal with the opposition. This is their fear. Catch-22. Now, let's just come down to as I said, Gala and the political parties, we have to understand, we all have entry, listen. Ibrahim Silla said certain things. And I want to go through that to expose who Ibrahim Silla is. I am not going to go personal, no. I have evidence to tell you who he is, but something that's not in the public domain, I'm not going to talk about that. But I am going to point to something in the public domain. We all remember Ibrahim Silla that sat on Kirfatu, where Nyang Jai sat there, I mean, the other lady and factory, and swear that he was not going to betray his party leader. Because what the party leader did for him, party leader did his family up to the death of his father. That person said that. Whilst when he was sitting there, people know that he was not telling the truth. Now, what if that person come and vouch for Barrow or anything else? We take him seriously because we know he's desperate. And people are desperate, they are dangerous. Because he's in fear of losing power. Because it's that power that make him betray everything that he said about Dabo and the relationship that he had with Dabo. That relation he had. That guy is not trustworthy. This is in public domain. It's not trustworthy. But again, let's look at other characters. This person was in the opposition for years. There are certain things we know about him, just as witnesses. We are not going to talk about that. But let's take what he advocated out during the time of being in the opposition, making people believe that he believed in what he was saying against Jammeh, about the rights of the people, about against corruption and anything else. This guy now is overseeing the biggest corruption. The only reason Barrow put him there is the procurement. You know that ministry, procurement in that ministry? Be the road, be it God knows. So much money. Go and look at the budget of that ministry. Procurement and that thing. That's why Barrow put him there. Look at the services, the port authority, airport and everything. Look at the Turkish deal and many other deals. And right now they are overseeing an aircraft that is involved in drug trafficking. That aircraft was not breaking into for anything. It's for drugs. It's between themselves. Now he's overseeing it. As the ministry, they are covering up. The aircraft is not paying landing fees because they don't want the accountability that if you pay landing fees, you are having public records of where the aircraft have been or where the aircraft is coming from. When he left the Gambia, when he comes back to the Gambia. They don't want that. Then he knows what they're doing. He will do anything that Barrow wants because that is what is making him rich. That is what is keeping him in power. Now, Ibrahim Silla talk about that we are not going to have diaspora vote. You see, he's saying that they don't have the political will. They're not going to do it. They are going to deny us our right. This is the person, same person who was saying that Jammeh was denying us our right. Tells you the kind of person he is. The same Ibrahim Silla accused protesters of wanting violence. The same Ibrahim Silla that said that supported Solo Sunday coming out. Same Ibrahim Silla is now telling us he did not support Salah Sunday. Which Ibrahim Silla are we dealing with? Which Ibrahim Silla are we dealing with? I remember we were all on the online or on the radios online. Go and look at the receipts. How much he supported the demonstrations, Kalama revolutions, and everything else. But now that is violence. But you know now because of they want to discourage people, telling you again that they don't want people to come out. They don't believe in our democracy. They don't believe in our rights. Now they're coming out to say that we're going to attack us as people who want violence, people who want this. Now they're going to come after us. This is what they're trying to do. Fear. They are talking from fear, point of fear. He's accusing others, inciting the youths, young people, and warning against. You see, now they are going to find someone to blame. And the boogeyman here will be UDP and the diaspora. The same people, that's how they lied about the so-called coup d'etat. I remember a year before, 2021 November, I had intelligence from New York that certain NPP people, Sankara was part of them, certain NPP people had a meeting. And when they had the meeting, they have the list of people. And I did contact some of those people who were on the list. Myself, Koto Sidisane, Seho Sedeli, and some other people I'm not going to name because they are not very active online. That they have to deal with us in order to shut us down. They looked at different strategies, what they're going to do. Different strategies, what they're going to do. Interesting enough, after 1 year, they were working on this. They find a victim, a Walter Mitty character. The gentleman, he's locked up for overthrowing. How can one person commit a conspiracy? Who said things that he said? Because he's just confused. Confused young man. But actually, this guy was after used because of the person he was used. The witnesses that did not want to identify themselves at the beginning, we have to expose them to identify themselves. The other one is Juf. The other one is, I forgot the other one's surname is Wali, I think. So-called intelligence or whatever it is. A captains, you think a private soldier or landscape will go to captains, let's do a coup d'etat. They used the boy to manufacture this coup. They wait until 2022. They're working on it. And God have it, coincidentally, I was in the Gambia. Coincidentally, I was in the Gambia. Some of these things I've never said before. I know people were watching it. There was a day I had to invite certain people to come and visit me. And when I invite those people, I had to invite a witness to stay with us. And that one of those witnesses is in Gala. As an independent witness, because I know they might want to pick me up and question me for that, those people being around me. That person came, the guy from Gala came, we sat, these people came, we sat, have our social event, and we make sure they left before this person from Gala left. And the person from Gala did not know that I invited him to be a witness to what would transpire. It's only later he understood this is what was happening. I knew they were watching me. Until the last day for me to leave the country, that morning I started having calls to tell me, leave the country, leave the country, leave the country. For me to jump out and they can arrest me to say, oh, he was running away. They tried everything, because whilst I was in the Gambia, one of their mad people in New York got hold of my Gambian number, shared my Gambian number, saying that I should be arrested, I should be investigated. This is how amateur they are. It was the same day, you know, when God have it for you. When the youths from Bakau, I was in Bakau that day, the youths from Bakau went and ransacked the Bakau police station because of when the guy who was deported from the US killed one of the Bakau boys and mutilated the body. The youths, that day, God have it, that's the day I left Gambia, I went to Dakar. They went around trying to find a witness to see if I was among, or I was anywhere near to say that I incited that violence. I'm just saying how they look for people to blame. The last day for me to leave the Gambia, when they started effecting arrests, I was called again, they arresting people. I said, to hell. Let them arrest who they want, let them come and arrest me. I traveled up to the airport, nobody touched me, and I left. And they went out there, started to engineer that. They came with a press statement saying that there's some in the diaspora, there are some in the political decision. That's what they tried to do. This was when they arrested Sabali and some in the diaspora. We know the people they wanted to frame in the diaspora. It was all manufactured lie. They used a person who was demented to form this thing. And they will try to do something like this. The Gala have to be very careful. Now they're saying that people are inciting them. They know it's a lie. What happened with Gala is televised. It's because of the publication from the Republic, and the youths came out and they organized themselves. They're not even, at the beginning, they were not even properly organized, but gradually they are progressing, organizing themselves. But now they want to say there was someone behind them. Even they send audios accusing Juka and others to be behind Gala, whilst those people are just supporting them. You cannot incite them. But this is what they're doing. They're scared, they're desperate. Gala isn't progressing. Gala is progressing, this is their problem. Now, the same Ibrahim Silla warning that any disorder, they're going to deal with them. Who is, you see, they are insinuating disorder. Who is planning a disorder? Who is planning a disorder? But you know that if disorder happened, they will be under their bed. Because the Gala demonstration that went out of hand, what happened? They all went quiet because they don't know what's going to happen. Because they realize what happened in Senegal. And you think Senegal invented what they did? Targeting key people? No. They landed from the online. They've seen it in other countries been done. That if you attack us, we are going to come and attack your families. You will not be safe. Any minister family will not be safe. Any security senior person family will not be safe. Any political person will not be safe. Anybody who incite against us will come after you. This is what they feared that Gala might do. I'm not saying Gala did it or Gala planned it. But if you put people desperately, they might use other strategies. When Pastef started, they never had more of cocktail. Nobody taught them to do those things. They had stones, they had this thing. And even in the beginning, Pastef did not use stones until they started to shoot at them. They started to ransack and do other stuff. If you leave people to demonstrate peacefully, they will demonstrate peacefully. And it's proven the other day. Now that's why they have their Catch-22. And then he turned around and attacking people. saying that all those people who had international appointment for 22 years. You see, this chap is still bitter because of Dr. Lamin Mane of UDP lectured him and exposed him for his ignorance, for his incompetency, for his corruption, overseeing the road construction and everything. He cannot still forgive the gentleman for exposing him. He thought he was a journalist. He can hold a debate, but he was lectured. He was tortured with sense. Now he's trying to attack Dr. Lamin Mane, and the likes of Larry Sise and others. That's what he's trying to do. This is how desperate they are. This is how desperate they are. As if we and Barrow, we were in a fight for nonsense. You see, we are not going to be personal. We have said a lot that we know that went on through the struggle. We have the receipts. But we don't go that low against them. But you know that Demba Sabali, talking about hooligans, pseudo activists. You see, I'm glad that many people, Nyang was saying this a few days ago or a week, that the rains are not likely coming early, and most farmers have already started planting 2-3 weeks ago, and if the rains did not come for days, they might just lose all their things, or if anything, the plants will be stunned, and then there will be a problem. Now is the time to come out, but the guy doesn't even know what to do. This is how reckless Barrow is. He doesn't care about us. He doesn't care about the people. What have Demba Sabali, Demba Sabali contributed to NPP for Demba Sabali to be Minister of Agriculture? Tribalism. That's all. His own constituency, parliamentary, he cannot win it. He cannot get the NPP to win. He's from a constituency I know, Bondali. But this guy is a non-entity. It's only a Barrow government that put him in cabinet or anywhere around government. What do you expect him to say? But as we said, the ball is in our court right now, Gambia. Gala have led. Gala is not they are not claiming to be ownership of anything or of leadership. They have volunteered to lead. Then it's for us Gambians to support them. And this is owned by all of us who is progressive, looking for, bringing about change. This is about accountability. This is part of the due process. This is about our rights. This is about our mandate, our duty to hold government accountable. This is what they're doing. And the success of Gala have been seen already. Over 60 different causes were advocated that day. They came out there. This is good for democracy. But this government cannot handle facts. They cannot handle accountability. That's why we have understanding. This is even more that we have to consolidate on these gains. Let us not be distracted. They will come in many ways to distract us. We should stand together, hold together, support each other, knowing that we are doing it for ourselves, for the greater good. Even those who are against us, we are doing it for them. This is what people do. If you are progressive, this is how you see things. You are not doing things for yourself alone. You're doing it for the greater good. You're doing it for the sovereignty of the Gambia, and the sovereignty of the Gambia is the sovereign. The people of the Gambia matters. And to sustain our sovereignty, we'll have to make sure accountability matters. And this is the only way we can move on. Accountability in our democracy, accountability in our systems of administration. The corruption needs to be halted. The sales of our assets need to be halted. The looting needs to be halted. Right now in Katong, I am talking to people from the VDC in Katong. These people are digging the entire landscape of Katong right now. And we all know Katong is sitting on a plain within valleys of rivers and Atlantic. But they don't care because they are what NPP, chairpersons, NPP, whatever it is. They don't care. Now, because of the rains will be coming, they are even banking sand banking sand to show that they can do the destruction. We have seen what Ababakar Jawara have done with Batu Kunko and other areas and other people. These people don't care about Gambian people. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good evening.